I think it's about time I blow this case wide open. I made a video recently about a brand new playlist, which I thought was going to be next update's playlist. But I had some suspicions. Why add assets for a playlist this early into the game? Why have things that don't match up? And then I remembered a few very important clues, and some had been staring me in the face this entire time. I'm about to expose the main, more obvious, honestly, theory on what this hidden playlist in the game is. See, if you didn't know, there was a few things found. I found that playlist start location ages ago. Then in the crew server, a bunch of other people found a bunch of other things. And then I started piecing them together. And then that led me to this, which we proved in that video was brand new to this update. And is the right proportions, it's the right art style, it says the crew Motorfest, so it's, you know, it's breaking the fourth wall. It says Motorfest Presents, which is only a thing that playlists say. Coming soon, implying that this right here is actually next update's playlist. So in my head, I made the very quick decision to just say, hey, this thing right here, this billboard right here, must be connected to that playlist at the top there. This is where I discovered that playlist location. Not too many people use this area, this airport enough, so I guess they just didn't go to it enough, and I discovered all of this completely inactive. Now, they would normally do this, something like exactly this. They would only do if they were going to add all of these events later on in this update. Now, that wouldn't have made too much sense if it was High Ride, that other playlist, all the way over at the Waikiki shell thing. Because that up there is a completely different theme to Hoonigan as a whole. Hoonigan's got nothing to do with High Ride, which appears to be a movie-themed, is it the Charger or is it a Plymouth Barracuda conspiracy movie, whatever, with Will Smith and Sigourney Weaver. It just didn't make any sense for that to be part of this update. So I assumed it was next update, but I did express my theory that having these added in the game before 3 months early just didn't make sense. So instead it made more sense that they were part of this update as a second playlist. Well, this next theory I have blows that wide open. First, we've got a lot more information. You might remember that not only did we find the playlist start all the way at the top, but we also found this right here. This is the start of a playlist. Now, I have every single thing in the game complete. Everything. So this should be unlocked for me, but it isn't. That's because it's a new event that is part of this new playlist. But this isn't the only one we found. See, I asked you guys for help, and a bunch of people sent me on Instagram, on Discord, on Twitter. You guys came through, because there was this first one that we had. Then, the other one that I had from also the Discord server was over here in Honolulu. Right there. That's not it. In total, we have 7 events. One is the one there. One is the one I just showed you. The other one is over here by the airport. It's this one right here. In a pretty empty space with not a lot else going on, we have that one. Which, again, leading to my later theory, there's another playlist that has an event right at the airport. That's events number 1, 2, and 3. Then, all the way over here, off-road, in fact, we have this event right there. In a little barn, not on an official road. This stressed anyone hunting out, because these events don't all have to be attached to the road. That's worrying, but that's event number 4. Now, I'm saying event 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't actually know what the order of these are. But what we do know is event number 5 is over here, next to the volcano in the yellow rock area, whatever that is, very close to the observatory. Event number 6 is over by the Kualoa Beach. It's down this end though, because it's right there. That's event number 6, and the final event, which I actually think is going to be the first event because it's the closest to the start of the playlist, is up here by the turtle. The Turtle Rock has event number 7. With the playlist start included, this is the full list of every event in this playlist. 7 events in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In case you forgot how to count to 7. You can go in game and find all these locations yourself right now. But there's even more. There's something you might not know about one of the skill types in this game, and that's speed traps. Because if you go over to a speed trap, you'll notice they're not just the big round UI thing that is on the game. They also actually have speed cameras attached to them. This applies to every single speed trap in the game, unless it's one in the air. All of them will actually have a speed camera attached to the speed trap itself. This is the only skill type to do so. The rest of them don't have anything that is on the map already. Nothing else is there other than just the speed trap itself once it's added, or the skill itself once it's added. But we can use this feature of speed traps against them, actually. Because if we head over to the Leeward Coast by user Nitro in the Discord server, he found right here, again, I've got everything in the entire game completed. So that right there is a speed trap that has not yet been added to the game, but is already prepared to be activated. What is this going to be, like a surprise Christmas present of a playlist? I don't get it. But that's not it, because some playlists have 1 speed trap, other playlists have 2 speed traps. Whatever playlist this is, which I'll get onto, actually has 2 speed traps. The other one is down here. As you can see, no speed trap is actually over here, yet still we have the speed trap camera. Presumably this way, or the opposite way, of course, rather than being on the intersection itself. And it makes sense because it's right next to one of the events on a road that would lead you to one of the next events. So now we know the start location of the playlist. Now we know 7 of the playlist events, all of the playlist events. We know where the playlist starts. But now I think it's time we get into the information I have about what this playlist is. See, here is my hypothesis I'm going to prove. This playlist is a sequel to the Drift Experience playlist, which is going to be added this update. And here's why. Oh god, this gets crazy, because when I tell you, we even know the reward car for this playlist. So first and foremost, when I say it's been staring me in the face, it's been staring me in the face. Let's go to filters, and let's switch over to anything else. Here we go, events. You notice that? You notice the balloon? What happens if I zoom out? Well, you notice that top of the balloon, what it looks like from above? Yeah. I mean, it looks kind of like just the M from Motorfest, which is what I got this thing I'm about to talk about confused with. That right there is the top of the Drift balloon. And this right here is what the top of this playlist start looks like when you're zoomed out in the map. It disappears. But that is the Drift Racing balloon. It has billboards for the Drift Experience, which I just thought were placeholders until I figured out the main key to all of this. Something that leads into why I think this is being added this season is just the stuff like having the speed traps, the events, all of that in-game already 3 months early. If it isn't being added this season, which I do think it is. I don't think this is next season's playlist. If next season is Drift 2, that's gonna suck if that's all we get for 4 months. But here we are, the Drift Experience playlists start. What if I told you, I've got Ghost Cars on right now, and I'd have to wait, sit around for this to activate for me? Ford, in my Discord server, stood here for ages and discovered that the 2 types of cars that go into this playlist as AIs, which, again, makes me think that this playlist is ready, is the fact that they already have the cars driving to the start coded. And that's in these videos that Ford took of it being a Supra and an MX-5. Specifically, this Supra and a very specific MX-5 that is the final piece to this entire puzzle. Because what relevance does this have? Because the Supra and the MX-5, they're not the same cars that drive into the Drift playlist. I checked. The ones that drive into the Drift playlist are a 370Z and an RX-7. Well, the Supra and the MX-5 have one thing in common. They're both rewards for the Drift playlist. What do you mean, Sid? We don't have a Drift MX-5. Oh, we do. See, because the original livery for this thing is this. This is what it looks like. It's an uncustomizable, custom-made, wide-bodied, spoilered, exhaust, splitter, most things. You can even see your little yellow line on the rims. That's this car, which is the reward for Drift Playlist 1. And the final piece of the entire puzzle is in this, the first event of the Hoonigan update, which I've been thinking about since the start of this playlist, since the start of this update, because is that the Supra? That might be the Supra. Hang on. Because this right here is a Mazda MX-5 in the exact customization, in the exact color scheme, in the exact style of the Supra, with the exact same livery. It's an MX-5 in Drift. Let me wait around for it again, if it's gonna come back around. No, he left. No, he left. Where did he go? That is the final piece to this whole puzzle. They have never added a car early that is supposed to come out in an update after. They have done that for within updates, but they've never done that for an update after. Again, the Supra is the reward for the Drift playlist, and an almost identical MX-5 in the almost identical way that the Supra is, being the only one in Drift, uncustomizable, presumably, because it's got a full body kit, it's got the same livery, it's got the same tires that the Supra has, is in the game already. They left it in the game because it's in the code. Because when someone was making that event, they used the MX-5 not knowing that it is the reward for a different playlist, and instead was just put in that event as one of the AI cars because it's a brand new Drift car. This update is my theory because they also use the Mitsubishi new one in Drift as an AI car, which is new to the game. It transferred from the Crew 2, which makes sense why it's the Supra and the MX-5 that go into the playlist start as ghost cars, because those are the two reward cars for the playlists, for Drift Experience 1 and Drift Experience 2. That is every single bit of public information tied together, and it was staring me in the face the whole time. Whether it's in month 2, whether it's in month 3, or it's halfway through month 2 as a midway playlist, I sincerely believe, and will die on the hill, that we are getting Drift Experience 2, which matches the theme of Hoonigan way more than High Ride does. We're gonna get Drift Experience 2 with 7 events based on that map that I made, with 2 speed traps based on those locations found by Nitro. Many people sent me location starts that they found for events, but Zeeps gets the credit for the most that he sent me, which helped me make that map. So in conclusion, we have a playlist that is the perfect theme for the update. We have a midway update, with the reward car being a Mazda MX-5, with the reward car being a newer Mazda MX-5, but customized to match exactly the way that the other Supra, that the Supra looks like in Drift. That's gonna be the reward car. And every single thing for this playlist is already in the game. Every single thing for this playlist is prepared to be hit like that, switched on, and is then activated within the game. So hey, it's gonna be fun when we finally get to play Drift Experience 2, once it gets added in the middle of this season. But hey, that's just a theory. Thank you to popular members, a special thank you to famous members, and an insane thank you to star members, Danimal, the Manimal, and Grim Pepper, and an insane top of the top thank you to icon members, HK. And in fact, that is just a theory. A crew theory. In a bit.